So we said that the mean overall of their entire potential sales would have been $500,000 had they made all those sales. Median is about the same, so it doesn't appear that there are any real outliers. Remember, the mean is skewed by outliers. If there's an outlier that's too high, it'll pull the mean up. If there's an outlier that's too low, it'll pull the mean down. So it appears that there aren't really too many extreme cases of where their profit was just abruptly really high. So it seems that based on that the profits are pretty stable. We also notice, however, that the range is $936,000. So their contracts seem to range basically by almost $1 million, and as low as $53,000 all the way up to nearly $1 million. So there's a lot of variability in these contracts, and so as a result, this may help make decisions as to, okay, well, we're not making a whole lot on some contracts, but we're making a whole lot on the others. This would require some more thorough analysis. Okay, so exactly, on average, how much spread is there in those values? So I'm going to generate one more table, and I'm just going to go ahead and do that based on a filter that I'll apply to the data set here. So this is what we kind of did earlier on in the course, and I'm going to highlight my data, and I'm going to, from the Home button, select Sort and Filter. I'm going to apply the filter to the raw data, and now I'm only going to look at cases where the sale was a yes. So it's very similar. So I'll uncheck no. This is very similar to using a pivot table, except you can apply the filter to raw data. I'm going to highlight this data, I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it off to the side. The only thing that allows me to do is to now undo the filter. So in other words, uncheck the filter, and now over in my new table I'm only seeing the yeses. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to, well, actually I guess I don't really need to select it. I'll go to Data, Data Analysis, Descriptive Statistics. I'll select my new range as being only the yeses. I'll click OK. Oh, I selected too much data again. So I will select my data, make sure columns, labels, summary statistics, okay, and now I see that my average dropped a little bit. My median didn't drop very much again, so it still indicates a pretty decent, not any extreme outliers. Still a big spread in this, 54 to 981, but now I'm only looking at 18 values. For Part H, we haven't really done a relative frequency histogram of revenues, but let's go ahead and do that anyway. A frequency histogram is like a bar graph, except it shows numerical categories on the horizontal axis and then counts the number of those values on the vertical axis. So here's the way we do that. We'll go to our raw data, our whole raw data set, and we'll select it. We will insert a pivot table on a new sheet. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drop in, first of all, my sale into my report filter. Get only the yeses. I am going to look at all of my profits in the values, and what I'm actually going to do, I'm sorry, not in my values, but I'm actually going to drop the profits in the row. What that does is it actually shows every single numerical value of every revenue that was earned, and after I click make sure that I'm only looking at sales that were actually went through, there we go. And what this allows me to do is just look at the different values, and what I will do is I will drop the sale into the values just so it generates a count column. Now you could have done the same thing, you didn't have to use the sale, you could have actually dropped the profit in here, but it actually shows the profit amount instead of the count. So if we just change it to a count, we just have to do a little bit more work. And it shows actually that $245,000 came in twice. To insert a histogram, what I'll do now is insert a pivot chart, select the regular bar graph. There it is. That just shows me every single sales amount and the frequency of those values that arose. In my pivot chart tools under the Design tab, I will select a different chart. I'll do layout number 8. And what that does is it actually makes all the bars appear as one as a continuous flow. The reason it does this is because it wants to show the continuity in all of the different profits.